Have you thought about what workplaces might look like 20 years from now? I was doing the DEI for Real webinar on Monday, and I actually had a question about this in light of the Ames case that was decided by the US Supreme Court last summer. I'm still pondering this particular question, but I wanted to bring up some of the things that came out of that discussion. So first, let me remind you who I am. I'm Nancy Schick of Third Ear Conflict Resolution. I am a New York employment attorney and global workplace mediator. Ames, if you're not familiar with it, is very important for workplace discrimination cases going forward. The simplest part of that decision that you need to be concerned about, whether you're an employer or an employee, is that there is no longer a heightened standard in the federal courts regarding a discrimination case. In other words, everyone gets the same standard of proof. You have the same burden of proving the case. And that's what happened for Marlene Ames. She won the right to be heard. As we're talking about that and looking 20 years into the future, one of the attendees was very concerned that this somehow meant we might not have discrimination or causes of action for race discrimination in the future as we see a change in the racial demographics in the United States. I thought it was a really fascinating question. If you have thoughts on this, put them in the comments below. I love this conversation. But what we started talking about was how naturally the US population is already diversifying. We already have interracial marriages, we have intercultural marriages. That's happening naturally. And that doesn't necessarily mean that there will not be race discrimination. It would be nice if we just all treated each other the same based on whether we could do a job, for example, not necessarily what we perceive is a good quality or a bad quality, et cetera. We really started just focusing on could someone do the work and what do they need to do it effectively. That's really where I see us moving. Don't think that race discrimination, causes of action, protections are going to go away simply because the racial demographics may change. I think 20 years into the future, we may still have protections in the United States. We have a long history, not as long as we would like it, but we do have a long history since the civil rights movement of providing those protections. Again, if you're curious about this, you have comments, thoughts, books you want us to read, things you think we should look into, then please put those in the comments below and make sure you also register for our next DEI for Real webinar, which will be March 9th at 1 p.m. Eastern. Thanks so much. And in the meantime, of course, keep listening with your third ear for those hurts you can heal.